Your heads. We're going to stand and face Jerusalem in respect to God. We also ask you please mute your cell phones. Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done on earth,
thy will be done on earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord,
For he is good.
for he is good,
For his mercy endureth forever.
for his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel,
For he is good.
for he is good,
For his mercy endureth forever.
for his mercy endures forever.
The Lord of lords,
Lord of lords,
the King of kings,
King of kings,
the mighty one of Jacob,
the mighty one of Jacob,
and there is no other.
and there is no other.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Today's scripture reading is Romans 3, 1 through 4. What advantage then hath the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way, chiefly because unto them were committed the oracles of God. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. May the Lord bless the reading, hearing, and doing of his word. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Got a selection? All right, looks like we're going to have a selection from this.
There's a voice that cries out in the silence, searching for the heart that will love him, and longing for the child that will give him their all, give it all, he wants it all. And there's a God that walks over the earth, searching for the child that will love him, longing for the child that will give him their all, give it all. He wants it all, and he says, love me with your whole heart. He wants it all today. Serve me with your life now. He wants it all today. Bow down, let go of your idols. He wants it all today. He wants it all today. He wants it all today. He wants it all.
the other one. If she had a soul, she'd think I'm crazy. All right. We give the sister one little round of applause. Excellent job. All right, I'm going to say praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone who is here in person, spiritual and physical Israel, as well as those who are watching live on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you may be viewing us from. Peace to you as well. As always, it is an absolute pleasure to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. As our custom is, just like the Lord's custom was to do, we come here every Sabbath day to stand up to read and hopefully to get some understanding of His Word and how to apply it to our lives. And today, we get a lesson here. Hopefully it's not too lengthy. Once I got started doing this, I didn't think I was going to have enough material to really fill my time. And then as I was going through this, I realized, man, there's enough material here to do probably 3 lessons. So I did a lot of cutting, and hopefully I didn't make this too long. Hopefully this isn't get too laborious. Hopefully I can make it a little entertaining for you so that you don't fall asleep. But I think it's something that's very interesting and something that we, it answers some questions. It also maybe it opens your eyes to some things that you haven't thought of before. But anyway, the title of this lesson is Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And this title, like a lot of titles and a lot of lessons we do, comes straight out of Scripture. This is no different. This comes straight out of Scripture. We'll read it. But the object or the purpose of this lesson is to answer a few questions about something that we really don't think much about. And that is, what is the significance of the firstborn? What's the significance of the firstborn? Maybe what is the firstborn? I mean, the firstborn, obviously, that is the firstborn of your children, right? That's the obvious answer to what the firstborn is. But there's more to it than just being the firstborn of your children. So let's take a look at the reference that everybody should have gotten. Read this kind of definition of what firstborn is, and we're also going to see what are some of the attributes of the firstborn. Some of the characteristics of the firstborn. What does the firstborn get to do? Go ahead and start reading.
A firstborn, also known as the eldest child, or sometimes firstling or fierce, is the first child born in the birth order of a couple through childbirth.
Okay, now that's the Captain Obvious definition of firstborn. Keep going.
Historically, the role of the firstborn child has been socially significant, particularly for a firstborn son in patriarchal societies. In law, many systems have incorporated the concept of primogeniture, wherein the firstborn child inherits their parents' property. The firstborn in Judaism, the Bekor, is accorded a special position. Okay, so we see here by Wikipedia's definition of firstborn that historically the role of the firstborn child has been socially significant, so they have some social significance to being the firstborn child. Okay, there's some social significance. Particularly for a firstborn son, it says in patriarchal societies, in the law, many systems have incorporated the concept of primogeniture, which means that when the firstborn, or when the father dies, or the parents die, the property, the estate, those things are typically given to the firstborn child. And then it's up to him whether he wants to spread it out to the possessions to the remaining children, or if he just runs the whole thing. A lot of laws are tailored to that. It says the firstborn in Judaism is also accorded a special position. And we're going to read the book how that in a lot of the firstborn, they're given the head of the table,
the father was at the head, but they're given the next, what do you want to say, the next spot, the next favorite spot, the next
Since it's right here.
choice, the choice of seat, the next choice of seat. So they're given that special kind of attention, as you might say, for being the firstborn of the children. Okay, so let's get into the book and let's look at some things here. Let's look at some attributes, some characteristics, and some benefits of being the firstborn. We're going to start this thing, Genesis 49. We're going to pick it up at verse 3, one verse here, Genesis 49 and verse 3. Because the Lord is saying something about the firstborn here. Genesis 49 and verse 3. All right, brother, go ahead.
Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power.
Okay, so Reuben, the firstborn of Jacob's sons. Jacob, we know Jacob had 12 sons, and Reuben being the firstborn, he says, ye my might and the beginning of my strength. So the firstborn is considered to be the beginning of your strength, of the man's strength, okay? Let's go to Deuteronomy 21 and 17. Deuteronomy 21 and 17. The firstborn is called the beginning of my strength. 21 and 17. Deuteronomy 21, verse 17. Give brother, go ahead and read.
For ye have acknowledged the son of the hated for the firstborn, by giving him a double portion of all that he hath. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his.
Okay, so we jump right into something here. This is a law concerning multiple wives here, and he's saying, well, we'll get into it a little bit more later, but he says for a child of the actual, who is your actual firstborn child. He is the thing we are looking at concerning here at this point is that again the Lord is letting you know that for he is the beginning of his strength, meaning the father, the beginning of his strength, and the right of the firstborn is his. Psalm 78 and 51. Psalm 78. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1, verse 51. And what we're doing here is we're establishing that the Lord is to let you know that the firstborn is the beginning of strength. Psalm 78, 51. Go ahead.
And smote all the firstborn in Egypt, the chief of their strength, in the tabernacles of Ham.
Okay, so he says here that the firstborn is the chief of their strength. So we see that the Lord is placing some importance on this firstborn child. Placing importance on this firstborn child. Let's go to Exodus 13. Exodus 13. We're going to see something else that the Lord calls the firstborn. He's going to call him the opener of the womb. Exodus 13, we're going to pick it up at verse 2. Exodus 13 and verse 2. All right, brother, go ahead.
Sanctify unto me all the firstborn. Whatsoever openeth the womb, among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine.
That's right. He says, sanctify to me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth up the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and beast, it is mine. So the firstborn is considered the one that opens up the womb, obviously. If he's the firstborn, he has to be the first one to come out of the womb. Captain Obvious. But that's what the Lord calls him, the one that openeth up the womb. Skip down to verse 12. He's going to say it again.
That thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that open the matrix.
Matrix being the womb. Keep going.
And every firstling that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the male shall be the Lord's.
Skip down to verse 15. Read that.
And it came to pass, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all that open the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem.
Okay, so all the firstborn, all that open the matrix, they're considered the opener of the womb. Exodus 34:19. Exodus 34:19. All right, brother, go ahead.
All that open the matrix is mine, and every firstling among thy cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male.
Okay, again, just establishing how the Lord looks at it, what he's calling. One more, and that Numbers 18, I believe. Right? Numbers 18 and 15. All right, brother, go ahead.
Everything that openeth the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or of beasts, shall be thine. Nevertheless, the firstborn of a man shalt thou surely redeem, and the firstling of an unclean beast thou shalt redeem.
Okay, so now we have two things the Lord has let us know about. What's that mean? Two things. He says the firstborn is the beginning of a man's strength, and that he is the opener of the womb. So those two characteristics of the firstborn: beginning of the man's strength and the opener of the womb. Let's go to Genesis 25. Genesis 25. Now we're going to look at some of the privileges and responsibilities that the firstborn gets, and the privileges and the responsibilities are also known as birthrights. The responsibilities and privileges of the firstborn are also known as birthrights. Genesis 25, and we're going to pick it up at 23. Genesis 25 and 23. All right, go ahead and read.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Okay, so we know who we're talking about here. Rebecca is the her he's talking about, and we know that Jacob and Esau are the 2 children in her womb. Okay, two manner of people separated by the bowels, and the one shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay, keep going.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Okay, so Esau is the first to come out, so that makes Esau the firstborn, right? Simple. Keep going.
And after that came out his brother out, and his hand took hold upon Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she bare him.
Okay, so we got their names. Esau and Jacob come out. Esau is the first one to come out, and Jacob is the second to come out. And now what the Lord had said, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated by thy bowels, and the one shall be stronger than the other people. The elder, meaning Esau, shall end up serving the younger, which is totally backwards to how the firstborn usually works, how that royal succession usually works. It doesn't usually end up with the firstborn serving the younger or the children under them. So we know that right off the rip here, the Lord is getting ready to do something here. It's going to change this order. It's not the typical way that things go. Where are you at? Go ahead. 27.
And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau, because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Okay,
so Isaac loved Esau because he's probably kind of like him, probably close to him, a man after his heart. He was the one that went out and did the hunting. And Jacob was a mama's boy. He stayed around the house. He kind of did the things around the house. But that kind of, when it comes to the firstborn type thing, that kind of fits, because the firstborn is going to be the one who gets all the chores, most of the chores. He's going to have the most responsibility. And the younger and typically ends up being around the mother a lot more. They end up doing a lot less of the physical work around the house or outside the house and helping inside the house. It's just kind of the natural way things happen. So Esau being the outgoing one, the outdoors one, and Jacob kind of being the indoors one, the mother, the mama's boy. Where you at?
29.
I'm sorry?
29.
29. Read it.
And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. Okay, so Jacob's got this this pot of pottage, this pot of porridge, or whatever you call it. And Esau comes in out of the field, and he's famished, he's wore out, he's hungry, he's tired, and he sees this sod of pottage, and he's like, give me some of that before I pass out. They keep going. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. Okay, so Jacob's scheming a little bit. He knows he's thinking ahead. He's saying, you know what? I'm in the house here. I don't really have much prospects. Esau's going to be one to get everything that our father has. I can see what's going on. So he says, I'll tell you what, I'll give you this pottage if you sell me your birthright. Now Esau, on the other hand, he's having a weak moment. He's having a little bit weak moment. Jacob caught him just right. He said, so Esau's looking at it like, I'm out here doing all this work, sweating, going out here hunting and dragging these heavy animals back in this meat to provide the family, help provide the food for the family. He says, you know what? I'm sick of being the firstborn. You can have it. I'm about tired of this. So Jacob caught him in a moment of weakness when he wasn't thinking about what the future ramifications were going to be. So Esau ends up selling Jacob his birthright. Keep going. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? You see how he's at that moment of weakness? He said, I'm about to die. He said, the birthright ain't going to feed me right now. It don't do me no good right this moment. Verse 33. And Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright to Jacob. So he went ahead and sold his birthright. Come on. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and a pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way, lest Esau despised his birthright. Okay, so it says there that Esau despised his birthright, because he's looking at it like I said, the birthright won't do me no good right now. I'm hungry now, I'm tired now, and this birthright thing is nothing but a headache. So Jacob caught Esau in a moment of weakness. Skip up to verse 5, right? Yeah, skip back up to verse 5. Let's look at how precious this birthright actually is. Verse 5, go ahead. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac. So Abraham, this birthright, when Abraham died, he gave all that he had to Isaac. All his possessions, everything that he had, everything that he owned, all that went to Isaac. This is what would happen to Esau if he kept his birthright. He gets everything. That's what you're working for. You understand what I'm saying? So Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac. Verse 6. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son while he yet lived, eastward unto the east country. So Isaac got everything, and all his brothers and everybody else, they got gifts and got consolation prizes, and they got sent on their way. So this is how special this firstborn, this birthright is to the Lord, to every and just in general to families from the beginning of time. They got everything. The firstborn got everything. Everybody else pretty much got consolation prizes, whatever was left. You can have some of that. You can stay here and work, or you can move on. You can take these few little gifts and you can move on.
So this is what happened here. Abraham gave Isaac everything, and all his brothers and sisters from the concubines and whatnot, they got gifts and moved on. Let's go to Genesis 27. Genesis 27. We're going to pick it up at verse 27. Genesis 27 and 27. All right, brother, go ahead.
And he came near and smelled him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field which the Lord hath blessed.
Okay, so now where we're at here is Jacob is at the end of his life, okay? And he is, wait a minute. Isaac. I'm like, I'm doing something right here. Isaac is at the end of his life, and he's getting ready to give out the blessing, okay? And so Jacob has, since we know that between Esau and Jacob, Esau sold Jacob his birthright. So Isaac and his mom, or Jacob and his mother, have resorted to some trickery here, and Isaac he's not the wiser yet. So where you at, verse 27? Read that again.
And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed. Mm-hmm. Therefore God giveth thee of the dew of heaven, and of the fatness of the earth, and the plenty of the corn and wine. Okay, so what we're seeing here, this is the blessing. This is the blessing of the first right. This is the birthright that Jacob's getting in the place of Esau. Keep going. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blessed thee. Okay, so he said, let the people serve thee, and the nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. So Isaac is giving up everything to Jacob here. He's giving everything, all the blessings to Jacob, giving him all the power over his brother. Keep going. And it came to pass. Where you at? Let's get down to 36. Let's get down to 36. Go ahead. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? Okay, so what has happened here is Esau has come in just as Isaac has given Jacob the blessing. Isaac is walking in the door, and now Isaac's like, well, what happened here? Because he forgot Esau. Esau forgot. Esau walked in, and he's asking Isaac, what happened? What's going on here? Because he knows he had to give him a double portion of all that he had. For he is the beginning of thy strength, and the right of the firstborn is his, because he is indeed the firstborn. Genesis 49. Genesis 49. Okay, so we see an example where the birthright could be given away, right? Esau lost his birthright. Well, I'm going to say he lost it, but he sold his birthright. So you can lose your birthright. You can lose your birthright. Genesis 49, and we're going to pick it up at verse 3. You could lose your birthright, you could sell it, but in this case, he lost his birthright because he did a bad deed. He lost this character is losing his birthright because he did something bad. Genesis 49, verse 3. Come on. Reuben, thou art my firstborn. Okay, Reuben, the first son of Jacob, the firstborn of Jacob. Go ahead. My might and the beginning of my strength. The beginning of my strength. Is that what we've been reading? The beginning of the firstborn is your strength? All right, come on. The excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Uh-huh. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. Unstable as water, he says, thou shalt not excel. So he's letting you know you done messed up. So what happened was Reuben ended up sleeping with Jacob's concubine, Bilhah. I think it's Bilhah. Bilhah, something like that. He ended up sleeping.
he ended up sleeping with his concubine, and Jacob is now passing out these blessings, and he's saying, you know what, because you've done this, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. So he's saying you will not get the birthright. Jacob's letting you know, Reuben, you will not get the birthright. Keep going.
Because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch.
That's right. So he slept with one of his concubines. So Reuben did a bad thing, and he lost his birthright. Just to make sure, let's go to 1 Chronicles 5. 1 Chronicles 5. First Chronicles 5, 2 verses, 1 and 2. First Chronicles 5, verses 1 and 2. Come on.
And the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but for so much as he defiled his father's bed, his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the sons of Israel, and the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright.
Okay, so he's letting us know here. Reuben lost his right as the firstborn, and it was given to Joseph. So Reuben's birthright was given to Joseph. It says the genealogy is not to be reckoned after that, after the birthright. So the genealogy, when you were going through the genealogy, you no longer could put Reuben at the top because he lost his birthright. He lost that social status. So now you had to list him underneath Joseph. Joseph took the top spot. Verse 2.
For Judah prevailed above his brethren, and of him came the chief ruler, but the birthright was Joseph's.
So it says that Judah prevailed over his brethren. It would have been Reuben who had prevailed over his brethren. But since Reuben lost that birthright, now it falls to Judah. It falls to Judah to prevail over his brethren. And this prophecy, if we would have kept reading, you read it on your own. In Genesis 49, Jacob goes down and reads or gives all these prophecies to all the brothers. And he says that the rod and the staff never passed from Judah. The scepter will never pass from Judah. So you can lose your birthright from doing a bad thing. 1 Kings 2. You can sell your birthright. You can also lose it by doing something bad. 1 Kings 2. We're going to look at yet another way that a birthright can be passed on to someone other than your firstborn. 1 Kings 2, and we're going to pick it up at 1, verse 1, 2 and 1. Let me get there. 1 Kings 2 and 1. All right, brother, go ahead.
Now the days of David drew nigh that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying.
Okay, so we're talking about King David here, and he's at the end of his days, and it says that he charged Solomon his son, saying he's going to give Solomon the rulership. He's going to give Solomon. He's getting ready to make Solomon king. Now, you go through and you go through David's lineage, and you track down all of his sons. Solomon was nowhere near his firstborn. He's like 10 or 11. I'm not even sure. Like 10 or 11 down on the list, and that gets complicated. Okay, because he had sons in Hebron, he had sons in Jerusalem, and I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. I started going down that rabbit hole. I didn't think I'd ever get this lesson done. But so Solomon is getting the rulership here, because if you remember, just like the first two that I remember, Amnon was David's first son, and Absalom killed him. So there was a whole bunch of drama. There was a Absalom, I think, was the third son of David. There was a son in between, I think his name was Chileab or something like that, also known as Daniel. And he's a mystery to me. I don't know what, he's like in 2 verses, and then you don't see him no more. So I don't know what happened. Maybe he died of childbirth or something, or, as a youth, whatever. But, that's just an example of what's going on with David. There's a lot of drama. So anyway, it goes on all the way down to number 9 or 10 where Solomon is at, and Solomon ends up being made king. He's the one that gets the right of the firstborn. Verse 2.
I go the way of all the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man.
Be thou strong, and therefore show thyself a man. So just to show you again, sometimes. And especially in a situation where David's the king, so he could give the firstborn, the birthright to whoever he wanted. I would presume as king. But it's another example of how the firstborn, the birthright was given away or lost. Okay, Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31 and verse 9. Okay, so among the men, because that's what we've been talking about. We've been talking about the firstborn among men. We see that the firstborn possess special privileges, right? They got a special seat at the table. They got all the possessions. Jeremiah 39, right? No, 31. Jeremiah 31, verse 9. All right. So they got a special seat at the table. They got all of the possessions that the father had, and so these special things were given to the firstborn according to the ways of man. But it was also the same with God. It's also the same with God. Jeremiah 31, verse 9. Come on.
They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them.
Mm-hmm. He's talking about Israel. God's talking about Israel here. Come on.
I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters, and a straight way, wherein they will not stumble.
Mm-hmm.
For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn.
Okay, so the Lord he's calling Israel his firstborn. And we knew that already. This title lesson, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. But he's saying, they shall come weeping with supplications, will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers and the waters and straight way wherein they shall not stumble. He says, I will help them walk in ways they will not stumble. Keep going, verse 10.
Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him as a shepherd doeth his flock.
Okay, so the Lord he's showing you that his firstborn, which is Israel, has special meaning to him over the other nations, right? He said, I who have gathered or who have scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. So he's going to keep Israel himself, he says. Verse 11.
But the Lord hath redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Lord, for wheat, and for wine, and for oil, and for the young of the flock and of the herd, and their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not know sorrow any more at all. Okay, so he's saying, I'm going to regather Israel. I'm going to give them all the rights of the firstborn. He is treating his firstborn Israel, like his firstborn son, and giving them the special things, right? Now, this is not to say that this is only physical Israel, because when you become spiritual Israel, when you get into this thing, you become part of the adoption. So you also take on the name Israel, and he's saying you will get a part of this as well. We finished that? All right. So we can see this. So we can see with man
firstborn is afforded special privileges, and we can see also with God that his firstborn is afforded special privileges and responsibilities. Exodus 19. Exodus 19. The Lord's firstborn is special to him above all other nations. Just like your firstborn was treated with different honor and respect in relation to the other children. Okay, Exodus 19, verse 3. Come on.
And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say unto the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I buried you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Okay, so the Lord is adopting Israel. He's adopting this whole family here, and he's saying, if you keep my commandments, you will be a peculiar treasure to me above all people, above all nations. So he's treating his firstborn different than he did all the other nations, because that firstborn is special to him. It's special to him. Keep going.
And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Okay, so with man, the firstborn is treated special, treated different, given special responsibilities, and it was the same also with God. It was the same also with God. We finished that at verse 6? Okay. Exodus 4. Exodus 4. Exodus 4. Okay, so we clearly see that the Lord has claimed Israel as his son. Exodus 4 and verse 21. 4 and 21. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, When thou goest to return unto Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go.
Okay, so this is just to give perspective. Moses has fled Egypt. Now the Lord is sending him back to Egypt to free the people. And he's saying, go and do these wonders before Pharaoh, but I'm going to harden his heart. Verse 22.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Okay, so obviously this is where the title of the lesson comes from. And he's saying, you go to Pharaoh, and you tell Pharaoh that Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Okay, keep going.
And I say unto thee, Let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
Okay, so the Lord is saying, I want you to let my son, my firstborn, go so that he can serve me, so that he can come and serve me. And if you don't, I'm going to slay your firstborn. So I'm going to take your firstborn out. So he's showing preference, again, to his firstborn over the other nations. He's showing favoritism. He's giving his firstborn some special responsibilities, some special privileges. Let's go to Exodus 13. Exodus 13. We're going to skip around a little bit. Exodus 13. So right off the rip here, the Lord has claimed Israel as his firstborn. Exodus 13 and 2. Come on.
Sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, It is mine.
Okay, he said, he says, Moses, I want you to go and tell the people, I want you to sanctify unto me all the firstborn. All the firstborn of Israel. He said, sanctify unto me whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man, of beast, it is mine. So those firstborn, the firstborn of the children of Israel belong to the Lord. He has claimed the firstborn, right? Everybody understand this concept? Okay, not hard to understand. Not hard to understand. Skip down to verse 12.
That thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that openeth the matrix, and every person that cometh of a beast which thou hast, the male shall be the Lord's.
Okay, so he's reiterating, he's just making sure, in case you didn't hear him the first time he said it, he's making sure you hear it this time, that you are going to set apart these firstborn, every first thing that cometh of the beast which thou hast, the males shall be the Lord's. He's saying, so all these males, the firstborn males, the firstborn daughters were, I'm going to say weren't so important, but the Lord is doing something here. He's establishing something. So he's taking the firstborn of the males and he's setting them apart. Okay? He's setting those firstborn males apart. That's something special here. So what he's doing actually, if you look at it, he's taking the firstborn of his firstborn. Israel being the firstborn, so he's taking the firstborn out of Israel's firstborn. Say that fast 3-4 times. Okay, skip down to verse 15, read that.
And it came to pass, when Pharaoh would hardly let us go, that the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all that openeth the matrix, being males, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem.
Okay, so the Lord slays all of Pharaoh's firstborn, all of Egypt's firstborn, from man to beast. He slayed all the firstborn. So this is letting you know that the Lord is serious about this firstborn thing, right? He's serious about this. You're gonna let my people go, and I'm gonna show you why. He says, I'm going to slay all of them, all your firstborn children. And that's exactly what he did. He says, but all the firstborn of my children I redeem. So he's saving the firstborn of his children. Let's go to Exodus 22. Exodus 22 and 29. He is serious about this firstborn thing. Exodus 22 and 29. All right, brother, go ahead.
Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits, and of thy liquors. The firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. He
said, thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy fruits. So he's saying, when you have this firstborn, don't delay offering him to me. He's serious about this thing. You have your firstborn child, it belongs to me. Offer it immediately, as soon as possible. Numbers 3. So the question is, the Lord has claimed the firstborn, right? He's claimed all these firstborn of the firstborn of Israel, right? What does he do with them? What does the Lord want, and what does he do with these firstborn that he has claimed? Is he sacrificing them? Is he sending them away? What is the Lord doing with these firstborn? I mean, he doesn't bring them into heaven and have them doing something, right? He must have a reason for taking all these firstborn, right? Well, let's see if we can establish what the purpose of taking these firstborn is. Numbers 3, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Because we know the Lord, he don't do anything in vain. He's got everything worked out. He's always got a reason for doing something. So if he's going to take the firstborn of Israel, there must be a reason for it. Numbers 3 and verse 1. Numbers 3 and 1. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read.
These also are the generations of Aaron and Moses in the day that the Lord spake with Moses in Mount Sinai. Okay, so these are the generations of Aaron and Moses in the day that the Lord spake to Moses in Mount Sinai. So just to give you an idea of when this is,
this is approximately more. This is either a little bit more, or a little bit less. I'm not quite sure. I couldn't quite nail it down. But it's about a year after the Lord has brought them out of Egypt. It's about a year after they brought them out of after He brought Israel out of Egypt, and now He is speaking to Moses and Aaron on Mount Sinai. Verse 2.
And these are the names of the sons of Aaron: Nadab the firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests which are anointed, whom we consecrated to minister in the priest's office.
Okay, so this is, like I said, this is about a year after the Lord has freed Israel from Egypt. Now He's brought them into to Mount Sinai, where we know that He gave the Ten Commandments, right? We know what happened, what was going down there, and this is what's happening here. He says, verse 3 says, "These are the names of the sons of Aaron the priest, which were anointed." So that the sons of Aaron were anointed as priests, whom He consecrated to minister in the priest's office. Okay? This is about a year after they came out of Egypt. Verse 4.
And Nadab and Abihu died before the Lord, when they offered strange fire before the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai. And they had no children. And Eleazar and Ithamar ministered in the priest's office in the sight of Aaron their father.
Okay, so two of Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, they got knocked off because they offered strange fire before the Lord. And this is actually kind of cool because really, the Lord told him what to do, but He hadn't even really set up the priesthood yet. He's just now beginning to set up His priesthood. And Nadab and Abihu, they're made examples of real quick. They set up strange fire and the Lord killed them. But you can read all that on your own time. Verse 5.
The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Bring the tribe of Levi near, and present them before Aaron the priest, that they minister unto him.
Okay, so now we're seeing what the Lord is doing here. He's beginning to set up the priesthood here. He set up Aaron's sons to be the priests. And now He is bringing the Levites before Aaron, it said, to present them before Aaron the priest, that they may minister unto him, right? Okay, so what we should do here is establish that there is a difference between the priests and the Levites. There's a difference here. So what's the difference between the priests and the Levites? No, the main difference, the number one difference, we read in verse 3. It says, "These are the names of the sons of Aaron." Go read it again. I don't read. You read.
These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests which were anointed, whom we consecrated to minister in the priest's office.
Okay, so the priests are consecrated. The priests are consecrated. Okay? They're going back to the Levites. Going back to the Levites, we're going to see. Is it coming up? We'll keep reading. We'll see the difference. Just remember right here that the priests are consecrated. Then we're going to find out what is the difference in the Levites. Verse 7.
And they shall keep his charge, and the charge of the whole congregation before the tabernacle of the congregation, to do the service of the tabernacle. And they shall keep all the instruments of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the children of Israel, to do the service of the tabernacle. And thou shalt give the Levites unto Aaron, and to his sons. They are wholly given unto him by the children of Israel.
Okay, so he says, bring the tribe of Levi near to present them before Aaron, the priest, and they're going to minister to him. It says they shall keep his charge and the charge of the whole congregation before the tabernacle to do the service of the tabernacle. And they shall keep the instruments of the tabernacle and the charge of the children of Israel to do the service of the tabernacle. So the Lord is setting up the priest to do his business, right? He's setting up the priests and the Levites to do church business. Sacrifices, offerings, all of these things. This is what the Lord is setting them up to do. You read verse 9?
Yes.
And he says, now shall give the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons, they are wholly given unto him out of the children of Israel. So the Levites are given to Aaron. Now, keep in mind that Aaron is a Levite himself. Aaron was also a Levite. So all the Levites, his kinmen, are given to serve him, right? So, and Aaron's sons directly are the high priest, are the priests. So that's another difference between the Levites and the priests, the difference between the Levites and the priests. The priests are direct sons of Aaron. Okay? The Levites will be all his other relatives that are in the family of Levi. Where are you at? Verse 10, come on.
And thou shalt appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest's office, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death.
Okay, so no other families, no Reubenites, no Danites, no Benjamites, none of those others can perform these the priest duties. None of the other families, the brothers, can perform these duties. It had to be either Aaron or his sons performing these duties. And the Lord was serious about that. He said, if they come nigh, they shall be put to death. Verse 11.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, And I, behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel, instead of all the firstborn that openeth the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore the Levites shall be mine.
Oh, okay. So now we see what the Lord was doing here. So the Lord is saying here that he said, for I will claim Israel my son, my firstborn. He said, all the firstborn of Israel is mine. And he's saying here in verse 13 that, verse 12, he says, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn. So what the firstborn were doing previously, the reason why the Lord took them was so that they could perform the duties of the priesthood in certain capacities. They weren't doing exactly the priesthood, but they were doing the business of the church. The Lord, when they came out of Egypt, the Lord had to have somebody, or Israel had to have somebody who was responsible for the church business, right? Keeping the cattle that were for offering, the rams and all that stuff, all the holy things. Somebody had to be in charge of that. So he took all the firstborn of Israel, those who were privileged, because this job, being the priest and the Levites, was a special job. That takes a lot of care. That's a special position, right? You can only give that to your firstborn, because that's how special and important that job is. It can only be given to your firstborn. So this is the duties that the firstborn were performing. This is why the Lord took them in the beginning. This is why he called them my son, and Israel is my son, even my firstborn. And this is why he took the firstborn of the firstborn of Israel to perform these duties. So we see the Lord setting up things here. Where you at? Okay, that was verse 12. He said, I have taken Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn that opened the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore the Levites, he claimed the Levites now as his. He said, the Levites shall be mine. Okay, so now let's go to Numbers 8. Numbers 8. And we're going to pick it up in verse 5. And right away, okay, so we see, I wanted you to remember that the difference between the priests and the Levites, the priests were consecrated, right? Isn't that what Numbers 3 said? I forget what it was at, but Numbers 3 said that the priests were consecrated, right? Okay, so read Numbers 8 and verse 5. Picking up at verse 5. Go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the Levites from among the children of Israel, and cleanse them. And thus shalt thou do unto them, to cleanse them. Sprinkle water of purifying upon them, and let them shave all their flesh, and let them wash their clothes, and so make themselves clean.
Okay, so this is the difference between the Levites and the priests. The priests were consecrated, the Levites were purified. That is the difference. The Levites were purified, the priests were consecrated. So that is a major difference between the priests and the Levites. Verse 8.
Then let them take a young bullock with his meat offering, even fine flour mingled with oil, and another young bullock shalt thou take for a sin offering. And thou shalt bring the Levites before the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt gather the whole assembly of the children of Israel together.
Okay, so we see a little bit of what it takes to purify the Levites. I didn't get into what it takes to consecrate the priest, because it's a whole long process, and you guys are yelling me about being too long, so I just let that go. All right, so we see that the Levites are purified, and we see a little bit of how it's being done here. Verse 10, come on.
And thou shalt bring the Levites before the Lord, and the children of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levites.
Okay, so they bring the Levites before the Lord, and it says all the children of Israel shall put their hands upon the Levites. Come on.
And Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord for an offering of the children of Israel, that they may execute the service of the Lord.
He says, and Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord for an offering. Wait a minute. Does that mean he's getting ready to sacrifice him? He says he's going to offer him as an offering. Right? How do you offer something? Typically you sacrifice it, right? I'm just saying. Keep on reading? Okay, keep reading. Because some of our friends, they like to read the scripture and stop right there. He said, and Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord for an offering of the children of Israel. That looks like a sacrifice. Well, verse 12, come on.
And the Levites shall lay their hands upon the heads of the bullocks, and thou shalt offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering unto the Lord, to make an atonement for the Levites.
Okay, so they had to lay their hands upon the heads of bullocks and make a burnt offering to make an atonement for the Levites, because this is making atonement for the Levites, atoning for their sins. This is how you purify them. You have to purify them, right? Okay, verse 13.
And thou shalt set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and offer them for an offering unto the Lord.
See? Sacrifice them. No? No. Okay. Well, I'm just making sure. He said before his sons an offering for an offering unto the Lord. No, we know he didn't sacrifice them. We're just having fun. The Levites are being offered as servants of the Lord, in service to the Lord. This is the offering. This is their offering. They are offering themselves in total service to the Lord. They don't do nothing else but do the duties of the priesthood, the service and duties of the Lord, the Levites to the Lord. Verse 14.
Thus shalt thou separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine.
Again, he's claiming the Levites just like he did the firstborn, right? So he's no longer talking about the firstborn. Now he's talking about the Levites. He's claiming them as his firstborn, or as his possession. Israel is still his firstborn. Israel as a whole is still his firstborn, but now instead of the firstborn of the firstborn, he's taking the Levites as his possession, his personal possession. Verse 15, come on.
And after that shall the Levites go in to do service in the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt cleanse them and offer them for an offering.
Boy, it sure does look like he's doing something. Verse 16.
For they are wholly given unto me from among the children of Israel. Instead of such as open every womb, even instead of the firstborn of all the children of Israel, have I taken them unto me.
Okay, so he's reiterating the point again. I am taking the Levites instead of the firstborn of Israel, the firstborn children of Israel. I have taken them unto me. Verse 17.
For all the firstborn of the children of Israel are mine, both man and beast. On the day that I smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified them for myself. And I have taken the Levites for all the firstborn of the children of Israel.
Okay, so he's taking the Levites instead. Verse 19.
And I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel. Okay,
and that's just like we read in Numbers 3. He said the Levites are for Aaron. The Levites are for Aaron to minister unto him. He says, and I have given the Levites as a gift. This is a gift to Aaron and to his sons from among the children of Israel. Keep going.
to do the service of the children of Israel in the tabernacle of the congregation, and to make an atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come nigh to the sanctuary.
Okay, so we clearly see that the job of the Levites is to serve, to minister unto the priests, Aaron's sons, and thankfully they didn't get sacrificed because they had to continue to do the atonement for the children of Israel. So we know he didn't sacrifice them. Verse 20.
And Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel did to the Levites according unto all the Lord commanded Moses concerning the Levites. So did the children of Israel to them. And the Levites were purified, and they washed their clothes, and Aaron offered an offering before the Lord. And Aaron made an atonement for them to cleanse them.
Okay, and so again, we see the difference between the priests and the Levites. The priests are consecrated, the Levites were purified. Let's go to Leviticus 27. Leviticus 27. So, the firstborn of Israel were no longer taken by the Lord. The Levites were taken in their place, right? Everybody got that, right? Okay. So, let's add another parameter to this. Leviticus 27. Leviticus 27. And we're going to read one verse here. Verse 6. 27:6. Because after Moses and the children of Israel set this thing up, they set up Aaron's sons as the priests, and they set up the Levites to minister to Aaron and his sons. The Lord told Moses to go and number the firstborn of Israel. He told Moses, go and number all the firstborn. So all those firstborn that I had you, given to me at the beginning, he says, I want you to go. He told Moses, I want you to go and number them. Okay? So Moses went and numbered them. And we're going to find out what the reason for Moses numbering them was. Leviticus 27 and verse 6. Because what the Lord is going to do is he's going to start a buyback program. Like when you buy, they have every now and then the government has a buyback program for handguns, to get guns off the street. Then, you take a gun there, they give you money for it. Well, the Lord's instituted a buyback program for Israel here, for the firstborn. But let's look first here, Leviticus 27 and verse 6. One verse here, 27 and 6. Come on.
And if it be for a month old, even unto 5 years old, then thy estimation shall be of the male 5 shekels of silver, and for the female thy estimation shall be 3 shekels of silver. Okay, so what we see here, this is the buyback program. How the Lord is putting a price on the child here. It says, and if it be from a month old, even to 5 years old, then thy estimation shall be of the male 5 shekels of silver, right? 5 shekels. And it says, for the female, the estimation shall be 3 shekels of silver. So to buy the child back, a male child back costs 5 shekels. To buy a female child back is 3 shekels. Everybody got that, right? Okay. And this is from a month old, even unto 5 years old. Now remember this, because a little bit later, you're gonna need to remember this so you can understand what's going on for something that's even more important. Okay. So remember, I pointed this out to you. Try to remember this. From a month old, even to 5 years old, the estimation for a male child was 5 shekels. 5 shekels. And for a female, 3 shekels. All right. Let's go to Numbers. Go back to Numbers 3. Go back to Numbers 3. And we're going to pick it up at verse 41. So Moses, we're jumping back in, and Moses has numbered all the firstborn of Israel, all the firstborn males. Let's pick it up
at verse 40, because he explains it here. Numbers 3 and verse 40. 3 and 40. All right, go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses, number all the firstborn of the males of the children of Israel, from a month old and upward, and take the number of their names.
Okay, so he said, Moses, go out and number all of Israel. Count all the firstborn of Israel from a month old, clear upward, he says. Verse 41.
And thou shalt take the Levites from me. I am the Lord. Instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstling among the cattle of the children of Israel. And Moses numbered, as the Lord commanded him, all the firstborn among the children of Israel.
Okay, so Moses accomplished this. He numbered all the firstborn among the children of Israel. Keep going.
And all the firstborn males by the number of names, from a month old and upward, of those who were numbered of them, were 22,213. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the Levites instead of all firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine. I am the Lord. Okay, so Moses accomplished this. He got the exact number, 22,203, 73. 22,273. Yeah. And the Lord, so that's the number of the firstborn of the firstborn of Israel that Moses numbered, and he said, take the Levites instead of the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of the cattle of the Levites shall be mine. I am the Lord. Verse 46. And for those that are to be redeemed of the 213 of the firstborn of the children of Israel, which are more than the Levites, thou shalt even take 5 shekels apiece by the pole. After the shekel of the sanctuary shalt thou take them. The shekel is 20 gerahs. Okay, so as we read in Leviticus 27:6, there was a price for the children who were a month old up to 5 years of age, right? So you assume, we didn't read it because to save time, those who are 5 to, I don't remember the exact number, I think it might have been 5 to 10, were another so many shekels, 7 or 8 shekels or whatever, and the price increased as the age increased, right? Okay, so he said here, he said, thou shalt even take 5 shekels apiece by the pole, meaning by the head. Take 5 shekels apiece by the head, the head count. After the shekel of the sanctuary, thou shalt take them, and the shekel is 20 gerahs, that's how many he had there. And thou shalt get, he said, just to let you know, the firstborn, the number of the firstborn that the Lord had claimed was way more than the number of Levites. Okay, the firstborn of Israel, obviously that would outnumber the number of Levites, right? So there's going to be a surplus of money. That's what I'm trying to get at. There's going to be, since it's a buyback program, there's going to be more money brought in for the firstborn because there's not as many Levites as the firstborn. Everybody gets that? That makes sense? Okay, all right. I was in my mind, I'm thinking that's complicated for some reason, but it's not complicated. Anyway, so we're seeing there's going to be a surplus for the firstborn because they outnumber the Levites. Verse 48. Come on. And thou shalt give the money, whereof the odd number of them is to be redeemed, unto Aaron and to his sons.
Okay, so the number, he says the odd number of them to be redeemed. So the number, so that's roughly the number that equals the Levites. That number is given to Aaron and his sons. Verse 49.
And Moses took the redemption money of them that were over and above them that were redeemed by the Levites. Of the firstborn of the children of Israel took he the money, 1,365 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And Moses gave the money of them that were redeemed unto Aaron and his sons, according to the word of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses.
Right. Okay. So this is like I was saying, this is the buyback program. So for each son, each of the firstborn males, it was from a month old to 5 years old. That was 5 shekels. Okay. So they were able to redeem that child. When you had that child, your firstborn child, normally before the Lord set up this priesthood, they were given to the Lord. And now since the Lord has taken the Levites as his, he's saying that firstborn now, you are able to pay 5 shekels, and that child is released from service unto the Lord. So he's redeemed. He's bought back from that service of the Lord. Everybody get that? Okay, that's simple. I was hoping that'd be simple. Leviticus 12. Okay, so now we get we have an understanding of what how the firstborn thing works. Now let's look at some law here. We got to look at some law. We got to establish some law before we go into the next part of the firstborn. We got to establish some law before we get into the next part of this firstborn. Okay, Leviticus 12 and verse 1. 12 and 1. All right, brother, go ahead.
The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman hath conceived seed, and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean.
Okay, so what we have here is when a woman conceives a child, and being born a man-child, that she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation, and her infirmity shall she be unclean 7 days, right? All right, keep going, verse 3.
And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
Okay, so after the male child is born, on the 8th day, the child is supposed to be circumcised. And you all being good Bible scholars, already know, I know you already know how that came about, why that's the 8th day, right? Because that was a covenant between Abraham and God, right? Right. Okay, verse 4.
And she shall then continue in the blood of it, purifying 3 and 30 days.
How long is that? 33 days. So she has to continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. 33 days. Keep going.
She shall touch no hollow thing.
She's not supposed to touch no holy things. Keep going.
Nor come into the sanctuary.
She's not supposed to come to the sanctuary
until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
Until these 33 days are fulfilled, right? Everybody gets that, right? Okay, now this is the law. You have the child, 7 days you're unclean, the child's unclean. On the 8th day, the man-child, to be specific, the man-child is circumcised, right? Okay, and then she is unclean for 33 days after that. It's the purifying for 33 days, it says, right? Everybody gets that? We all good? Okay, all right. Now let's go to Luke 2. Now that we understand what a couple of these laws are, let's go to Luke 2. Because when the Lord says, when the Lord says all be fulfilled, he was not joking. He was not joking. He lived this thing down to the letter of the law in almost all aspects. So when he said not one jot, not one tittle shall pass until all be fulfilled, he was dead serious. Leviticus 2, we're going to pick it up at verse 21. 2 and 21. I'm sorry. Luke 2 and 21. 2 and 21. All right, come on.
And when 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Jesus, which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. Okay, so just to be clear, we're talking about Jesus here. Jesus was born, and he was circumcised on the 8th day, right? Okay, I just want to be clear about that, because when we get a little bit further down, I don't want anybody to say, the custom of the law that it's talking about here was the law of circumcision on the 8th day, because that's not what custom of the law that it's talking about, okay? So we understand that the circumcision, the 8th day, has already happened, all right? Verse 22. And when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished.
How many days was that? 33 days, right? Okay, so when the days of her purification purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished, so that means she has waited her 33 days.
They brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord.
So they brought him to the temple in Jerusalem to present him to the Lord, right? Okay, so we know that Mary was a virgin, right? And Joseph and Mary having Jesus would make Jesus the firstborn, right? Okay, so according to the law, they had to bring him to the temple, right? After the 30 days, 33 days, after the 33 days, why would they bring him to the temple according to what we learned? To redeem him, right? To redeem him. To redeem Jesus, because he's the firstborn. He's supposed to be the Lord's firstborn according to what the law said, right? But the law said, I'm taking the Levites instead of the firstborn, right? Jesus wasn't a Levite. So he had to live out this law of the firstborn. He had to be redeemed also. So this is why after 30 days, we're bringing him to the temple here. Verse 23, come on.
As it is written in the law of the Lord, every male that openeth the womb shall be called holy to the Lord, and to offer a sacrifice according to which is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons.
Okay, so and this is according to what we read in Leviticus 12, that how you purified the newborn child, how you purified the newborn child and the purifying of the mother. Okay, according to the 33 days. Verse 25.
And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simon. And the same man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Ghost was upon him. And it was revealed unto him by the Holy Ghost that he should not see death before he had seen the Lord's Christ. And he came by the Spirit into the temple. And when the parents brought in the child Jesus to do for him after the custom of the law. Okay, so this excuse me. So this is the part I want to get to.
And he came by the Spirit into the temple, just to reaffirm, because it said earlier in the scripture that they brought the child to Jerusalem. This confirms that they were actually in the temple where the priests are at, to do for him after the custom of the law. Okay, so what law was that? The law that they were performing here or keeping accustomed to was what we read in Leviticus 27. Because earlier we had read after the days of purification, which was 33 days, right? 33 days, which means that Jesus was about a month old. So it was the price for Jesus from a month old to 5, according to Leviticus 25 shekels. Good Bible students, I love y'all. Good Bible students. Okay, so they were there to pay their 5 shekels to redeem Jesus. And this man, Simeon, he sees Jesus and he are we going to read all that? Let me see. Oh, we're stopping at 27. Okay. So anyway, he took Jesus and blessed him. All right. So we see that Jesus had to fulfill this law of the firstborn just like everybody else did, right? We see how that all worked. And you see how the Lord don't have you just doing stuff for nothing? I mean, in vain. All this stuff always works out. There's always a purpose to everything that he does. That's why I love about this book. It's airtight. Everything in this book is airtight. And when he said "till all be fulfilled," he meant that. He meant everything that had to be fulfilled. Two more places. Hebrews 1 and verse 5. Hebrews 1 and verse 5. So we see Jesus had to be redeemed according to the law, just like everybody else did. He fulfilled that, just like he fulfilled all the other duties that were within his charge. And now we're going to look at just like Israel, Jesus being the firstborn is going to have privileges over the nations. He's going to have privileges over all the nations, or shall I say privileges over the world, because he's the firstborn. So that would naturally give him preeminence over everything, right? Okay, Hebrews 1, and we're going to pick it up in verse 5. Hebrews 1 and 5. Let me get there real quick. All right, go ahead.
For unto which the angels has he said at any time, Thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee.
Okay, so this is the Lord saying, this is the Father saying, to which of the angels did he say, Thou art my son? He never said that, right? He was only talking about Jesus, right? Keep going.
And again, I will be to him a father, and it shall be to me a son.
Uh-huh.
And again, when he bringeth in the first begotten to the world, he said, and let all the angels of God worship him.
Okay, so we see the first begotten of God, of the Father, being Jesus, is being given his right, his birthright. So he's given preeminence over all the nations, over all the world. He's given preeminence and over the angels. Jesus says the angels worship him. Let's go to Romans 8. Romans 8. Just like Israel, being the first one was given privileges over the nations, so is Jesus. Romans 8 and verse 29. One more place after this. 8 and 29. All right, brother, go ahead.
For whom did he foreknow? He also did predestine to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren.
That's right. He says, and for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed in the image of the Son. He might be the firstborn amongst many brethren. Amongst many brethren. So, as we know, if you are led by the Spirit, you are called the sons of God, right? So if you want to be in this family, you want to be in God's family, then you have to be led by the Spirit. In other words, you have to walk in His Word. You have to walk in His law. And if you walk in His law, whether you're physical or spiritual Israel, did I say that right? Yeah, physical or spiritual Israel, then you are adopted into His family, into this God family, because that's what He's creating with us. He's creating a family. So Jesus coming down here in the flesh, making him our brother, he is the firstborn of many brethren, because there's something that is going to happen to us that is going to follow after Jesus, which he is the firstborn of what is going to happen to us. He's the first one that's going to go through to it. Last place, Colossians 1. Colossians 1. Colossians 1 and verse 15. 1 and 15. All right, let me go ahead.
Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature.
Okay, so who are we talking about? We're talking about Jesus, right? He is the image of the invisible God and the firstborn of every creature, it says. He's the firstborn of every creature. Verse 16.
For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him.
Okay, so this is the preeminence. This is Jesus being the firstborn of all creatures. He's the firstborn. He is the one that created everything. With him being the firstborn, his birthright is to be master and to be king over all the creation, right? Simple. Simple to follow along. Verse 18, last place, right? Verse 17, I'm sorry.
And he is before all things, and by him all things consist.
That's his birthright. Verse 18.
And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence.
Okay, so it says that he is the head of the body. So, meaning he is the head of everything. He is the head of us all and the church. Israel, likewise, being the head over the nation, because it was our job to be a nation, a kingdom of priests, right? And now we read in Deuteronomy, how many what I said? Exodus. So they were to be a kingdom of priests, right? So they have special privileges, like we've already established. Israel has special privileges as a firstborn over all the nations. So just like we read here, that Jesus, as the head of the body and the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead. He's the firstborn. He's the first one to come down and die and be resurrected into everlasting life, right? So that makes him the firstborn of this new creature, this firstborn of this family of gods that we're trying to become, right? Is everybody following that? Okay. And it says, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have the preeminence, that he may be the king over everything. And this is what we are trying to achieve. This is exactly what we are trying to achieve. And this is where we're going to stop, because the next part 2 of this lesson is the firstborn given the inheritance, which is what we're talking about, giving the inheritance of becoming God. So this is the end of part 1. Hopefully everybody understood and got some understanding, and we ask the blessing for the reading, hearing, and doing of His word in Jesus' name. Amen. We'll have these.